We are live. What's good, everybody? It's your man, DL Saint. Welcome. I really want to know podcast. How y'all feeling? Looks like the audio is good. Yeah, man, we're back to doing what we do. I know a lot of people were looking at the thumbnail, and I had the thumbnail for Peter Shift. Gonna do that show today, 7:30, somewhere in there. I'm gonna do it. I wanted to do this one first. I wanted to do this RP thing, bro, first. It's yeah, I wanted to do that. And dealer's choice, guys. Dealer's choice. Y'all know how that works, man. So I hope you're doing well out there. We're gonna talk about the RP, man. It is a tough pill to swallow. We have a video we're gonna react to, bro. It is what it is. I wish I had better news for you, but hey, man, that's what it's all about. Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed, man. I hope you guys are doing all right out there. It's Monday, spring break week. So for you single parents out there, spring break. So if you co-parent, you might get a breather. If you are 100% single parent, that means the kids are running around the house, so you don't get a breather. But you do get to spend extra time with the kids. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I know if you're a teenager, in college or whatever, and if you're out there spring breaking, wherever you might be spring breaking on planet Earth, be careful. Keep your eyes and head on a swivel. Keep your eyes open, head on a swivel, and look out for yourself. I mean, it's, we definitely live in the safest version of the world to this point, but it's still a lot of bad actors out there, so you got to be careful. You've got to be careful. You can run up on some drama, or some drama can run up on you. So if you're out here spring breaking, having a good time, I get it, but keep your head on a swivel. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, man, Monday we're getting into it. We got a lot going on. Down here in Florida, it's like 65 degrees. It's the middle of the day, which is cold for Florida, especially this time of year. It's been a little cooler than normal, which for someone like me, originally from the Midwest, who, like been through blizzards and stuff like that, man, I appreciate this weather right now. I really do. Could put on some sleeves, put on a hoodie. I like this weather. But for people who are, Floridians, Floridians are like, man, what's going on, man? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's weather. It is what it is. You just got to, be ready for it. And these cooler temperatures, man, it means it could, hopefully it'll cool the water off, and it won't, it's the warm water that makes the storms worse. We're in hurricane season, and, or hurricane season's right around the corner, one or the other. But when the water is warm, the storms are more intense. So I'm thinking, well, it's cooler. Maybe the water is cooler. I don't know. I have to talk to my buddy Rook, because he knows all about the weather. That's his thing. But he said too, he's like, it's a La Nina event, so be ready for a bunch of storms. He told us that before Milton, before Helene. He said he's like, bro. So you know what? I'm going to have to reach out to Rook and find out what we're going to be expecting for this hurricane season. And I ain't gonna lie to you, when the hurricanes get bad, man, I get up out of the way. I do not stay. I leave. Brother Mandrell's in the building. What's good, fam? How you feeling? It's our resident Green Beret. Good to see you, bro. Man, what are your thoughts on what's going on in Yemen, man? It's like the Houthis are, getting it right now, bro. It's like the United States Navy is going after the Houthis, and the Trump administration, Marco Rubio, is talking real big to Iran. What are your thoughts on that, man? That's definitely going to be a show. Not today, but we're definitely going to have to do a deep dive on that. People voted Trump in, man. They wanted the economy to be better. They wanted more money. They wanted less war. Doesn't, I guess we'll have to still wait on that. If that's what y'all voted for. Still have to wait on that. I haven't checked. Let's see what are the markets doing before we get into this. I haven't checked. I just do a basic stock market search, the market today, and then I normally go into let's look at CNBC. Because they normally have a ticker. Don't see the ticker. But Market Watch is good. Looks like the Dow and the S&P are holding the gains they had on Friday, which is okay, cool. The NASDAQ just lower. All right, so Dow Jones up 0.48%. S&P 500 is up 0.11%. The NASDAQ currently down 0.44. It's early still in the trading day. So I guess they look pretty flat. Yeah, it is what it is. And Bitcoin is up 0.09%, so it's up $74.60, but down overall. So, I mean, it is what it is. That's just transition stuff. It's going to be a long week. The traders are they're waiting for what they're waiting on. Look at man, Joe, you tired of winning yet? No, bro. It's not even like that, bro. Brother Donnie in the building, what's good, fam? Good to see you, fam. Yeah, man. We'll definitely be talking about that a little bit, especially later on today. We'll be talking about the markets when we do the Peter Schiff show. When we talk about, we're gonna break down one of Peter Schiff's interviews. I ain't gonna lie, man. I like what Peter Schiff has to say. I've been talking and talking about Peter Schiff since I started this podcast. He's definitely a free capitalist guy. He's a gold guy. He's a back to the gold standard guy. We're gonna get into that tonight. And what I like about Peter Schiff is, his loyalty is to the financial system, is to the economy. That's where his loyalties lie. You know what I mean? When it comes to politics, he's out there calling balls and strikes. So, yeah, the video the interview he did is only, I think it's less than a week old. So it's gonna be good to talk. So that'll be tonight around 7:00 Eastern time. Brother Mark is in the building. What's good, man? What's good, fam? Good to see you, man. So yeah, man, it's it's crazy. Good time to be alive. I mean, it's a lot going on. A lot's going on. We're gonna continue to see what it is. It is what it is. But right now we're gonna talk a little bit about the RP stuff, man. The RP gets a bad rap because when a lot of people hear the term RP, they tie it to, like the Fresh and Fit podcast, or they'll tie it to the Tate Brothers, or they'll tie it to whatever podcast. But it's a lot of other people out there who are kind of caught up in this thing. When you look at Dr. Orion Taraban, like there's a lot of people who watch his content. A lot of men are part of that RP world. They're looking for answers. They're looking, trying to figure stuff out. You look at Michael Sertain's kind of, like he puts it, he's red pill adjacent. You look at people like Coach Greg Adams, the free agent lifestyle. That's a derivative of the red pill, and in my opinion, And of course, you got Rich Cooper, Unplugged Alpha. Like he said, the red pill absorbs him, but he doesn't really claim the red pill like that. He stays away from the Mano Swamp, right? He doesn't call it the Manosphere. He calls it the Mano Swamp. And then, of course, you got Rollo Tomasi, who puts out his information, and it's a whole bunch more people out there. So, and the way I look at the red pill, man, it's an unavoidable truth. You can't get away from it, especially when it comes to dating. When it comes to politics, when it comes to finance. I mean, it's just, you can't get away from it. The red pill is just seeing it for what it really is and moving accordingly, right? That's all it is. And a lot of people, especially guys, when they realize, it's like, well, damn, man, I kind of believe that if I just work hard enough, and if I'm nice enough, and and if I'm honorable enough, then I'll get the girl, and I'll get the job, and I'll live happily ever after. Now, unfortunately, bro, the red pill take on that is not necessarily, right? Not necessarily. So many dudes are going out there becoming the best version of themselves, but not for the right reasons. They're like, I'm going to be the best version of myself so I can win Susie's hand in marriage, and then Susie and I can ride off into the sunset and be happy and live happily ever after. It's like, well, nah, bro, that's okay. You can do that, but understand the rules of the game are constantly changing, and you can go do that. But once you get Susie, she may not be the person that you want. Susie may not be the best woman for you. You have to clear your mind. You have to put all that other stuff aside and see Susie for who she really is. Now, who is Susie? Don't know. That's your job to figure out. How do you do it? You use your circle, you use your family, you use your people, you vet. This is the red pill way. And a lot of people like, God, dog, man, it's so hard. Why can't it be like in the movies? Right? Why can't it just be like in the movies when at the end of 90 minutes, everyone's happy, and like, man, it would be nice, wouldn't it? And then, another red pill thing, in my opinion, is guys that see other dudes winning. And then you're like, I know that guy, man, he's such an asshole. But Susie is completely in love with him, head to toe. She won't look at anybody else. She's cooking for him. She's cleaning for him. She's working extra hard to keep him happy. What is his secret? Well, his secret is that red pill takes. Like, bro, his secret is that guy's a little bit selfish, right? That's his secret. That dude's a little bit selfish. Right? Brother Donnie's like, I like Derek Silver. RP is just a source of information, facts, but people tend to have more of a problem with the messenger's delivery. That's true. There's a difference between a delivery from the likes of Sartain versus Fresh and Fit. That's a fact. That's a fact. You can't get around it, and let's keep it 100. Another red pill truth, man. Red pill rage is a thing. You gotta, there are guys out here, man, who are hurt, man, for real. They got ripped apart. They don't like it. They haven't pushed through that yet. And they love seeing other people get hurt, right? Shout out to Charlemagne the God. What does he say all the time? Hurt people, or hurt people love watching other people get hurt. A lot of the fan base for whatever podcast and Fresh and Fit are just dudes are like, yeah, they want to see those girls, those 304s get what they deserve and da, da, da. But at the same time, they would love to take the same girl out. They would love to spend time on the same chick. And guess what? You spend your time over here in the red pill. You talk to folks like me. You listen to Sartain. You listen to Myron. You listen to Rich Cooper. You listen to whoever you listening to. And then you begin to work on yourself, and you change. You begin to understand and move accordingly. It's like, oh, man, this is working. Then you get a girl, and then you dump all that information, everything you just learned, you dump it all, and you revert back to who you truly are, right? Which is the hopeless romantic, and you get crushed. Like, you get crushed. And then you come back, red pill rage times 2. You're right. You come back, man, none of these women no good. I'm going to go MGTOW. I'm going to go my own way. It is what it is, man. Like, the message is out there. We're letting you know, and no matter who you listen to, man, think about it. The core message is the same no matter who you listen to. The core message is the same, right? Young men out there, old men out there, listen to me, hear me, what I'm about to say right now. Life is a contact sport, bro. You will get hurt. Period. You will get hurt. Hey, man, that's life, man. It is painful to be alive. But you got to learn from those mistakes, bro. You got to get out there and do what you got to do. Right? So a lot of young guys, man, they hate the fact that you got to be hard sometimes. Sometimes you got to get big, bro. Sometimes you got to get big. And a lot of guys don't like that. You know, relationships takes a lot of work, bro. A lot of work. Like so much work. And sometimes you get to a point in a relationship where you realize, like, damn, this ain't working. And most guys, they don't know how to just break contact, cut loose, and leave at that point. Most guys, when dealing with the woman, is like they got caught in a black hole, bro. It's like they're just past the event horizon and they're being stretched. They don't know what to do. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Get out of there. I can't. I'm stuck. Help me. Like, bro, you ain't stuck. You holding on. You just gotta let that go, bro. You gotta leave. Quit dwelling right there. Quit existing right there. It's funny, because you guys know I can't sleep well, right? I'm always up late. I was up until about 5 o'clock this morning, just for whatever reason. I need to keep working on that. But I was watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Like, you guys, if you don't know, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, I am a Trekkie. I've always been a Trekkie since the Star Trek, the original series, TOS, the original series. When I was a kid, I used to watch it in syndication. And Generations, man, like, Generations came out, and immediately I became a Jean-Luc Picard. I mean, Picard was my man. Jean-Luc, that's my guy. And but I've always had mad respect for Kirk in the original Star Trek, and then Deep Space Nine, and then Voyager, then Enterprise. So, and then they got even more stuff on Paramount now, like the latest Discovery and all that, man, I think is garbage. I'm having a hard time watching them. But I never really got into Deep Space Nine. Although one of my favorite Trek episodes ever is a Deep Space Nine episode, and they cover PTSD. So, and one day we're gonna do a show when we just geek out and talk about Star Trek, bro, and sci-fi and stuff like that. Because I want you guys to understand something, bro. A lot of people think that to be an RP guy means you gotta be a certain type of dude. Like, you gotta go out here and act a certain way and talk a certain way. You gotta be like a Rico Suave. You gotta be out here, the dude on the scene with the holla holla, holla holla, holla holla, holla holla, holla holla, holla. You don't have to be that guy. To be successful, in my opinion, in today's dating environment, you just have to be you. Whoever you are. Right? I'm a dude who came from Cincinnati I spent a lot of time in the streets, but I spent a lot of time in the house as a latchkey kid watching TV and listening to radio. So, yeah, I can move on the streets and, out there dealing with what you got to deal with in the streets. But I'm also just as comfortable sitting around watching Star Trek and listening to the Dr. Demento show, right? That's where I found Weird Al Yankovic, which he has a movie coming out, by the way. Right? I was doing that, listening to Dr. Demento as a young kid in Cincinnati, listening to MTV and MTV raps. And so I'm listening to Sugar Hill Gang, but I'm also listening to Aha. Right? So I'm, I'm looking at Boy George and I'm just as confused as everybody else. Like, what's up with that? Who, huh? I was confused. Boy George, but I was confused. But I was, come a chameleon. I was listening to the song, but I was confused. Like, what am I seeing on TV? Right? And, it is what it is, man. Nina, 99 Luftballons, bro, I love that track. But but that was also the same time that I was starting to get outside and get into the streets. So I was also listening to the hip hop, and I was doing that. You see, you can be as nerdy as you want to be and still be successful with women. And I say that all the time over here, bro. Like, if you were be good at something, and that carries the day. Women just want men who are competent and confident, bro. Just keeping it 100. If you carry yourself with confidence, women are going to come holler at you, bro. They're going to put themselves in your orbit. I promise you. That's what they're going to do. You don't have to be a pickup artist, bro. You don't have to live that life like playing with fire like Alex does on Playing with Fire. You can if you want to. If you want to do pickup artistry and you want to read mystery and you want to do all that, you can. All right, you can. That's fine. That's one play, right? It's just this is just the information, bro. You can be the nerdiest of nerds, bro. You could be like Neil deGrasse Tyson level of nerdiness, but guess what? That dude's married. Like I say, be good at something. One of the best. He is the astrophysicist. I mean, he's one of thousands, probably tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in the field. But when you think of it, when you think of space, you think of who? Neil deGrasse Tyson. Right? So, and he has a woman. He has a wife. Now, granted, he's touchy-feely. I be, I'll be watching Star Talk like y'all be watching Star Talk, and I'll be wondering, like, how come he always touching people? If I was sitting there next to him, I'd be like, man, get off. Come on, man. What you doing? Back up, bro. Back up. Back up. Yeah. But I think it's just because he's, on the spectrum a little bit, man. He isn't all the way there. He's not as in tune socially as he is scientifically or something like that, or academically, man. So, and I definitely, I got that one in the shoe too. There's a couple episodes of Star Talk, bro. I want to definitely put up here and some good stuff out there, bro. So that's the true red pill, bro. That's how I look at it, bro. You can be any of that. All you guys out here who are just lost boys, bottom 80 dudes, invisible guys, y'all invisible men out there. That's why I keep telling you, it just takes a little bit of work on your part to be seen by women. It's just when women begin to see you, bro, you best have your game ready. You best stick to your program, whatever that program is, to be successful. So we're gonna watch Derek Silver. I just wanted to throw it all that out there, bro. And what got me on this tangent? I was talking about Deep Space Nine. I remember what it was. The pilot episode of Deep Space Nine. Sisko's character, Commander Sisko, he wasn't captain yet. Commander Sisko was stuck at Wolf 359. Wolf 359. Like that's because Sisko was on board the Saratoga fighting the Borg, and his ship got blown up, and he lost his wife. And sorry, spoiler alert. So my bad. But he never moved on from that moment. He was stuck in that moment, and a lot of guys who are out here in this dating world, they get with a woman and then they discover that this woman isn't necessarily into the guy like that. He married her, they had kids, he thought he thought this was the happily ever after phase. She wakes up one day, doesn't love him anymore, leaves him, takes half his stuff because that's what society does. Or even if, remove that part of the equation. Let's say there was no stuff to take, but she left and she's taking the kid. So now you got a co-parent and all that, but these guys will stay there. They'll get stuck there. They will dwell in that moment. Like Sisko dwelled in that moment when he lost his wife. They won't come away from it. You can't dwell there. You got to move on, right? That's the RP. That's the tough part of the RP that these guys don't want to swallow that pill. Once you realize she ain't into you, bro, you got to move on. What do guys do? Is the first thing they do. How do I get my girl back? She's not your girl anymore, bro. She gone. She gone. She's moved on. How do you get her back? You don't want her back. And this is what people don't like to hear. Right? This is the part that guys don't like to hear. So let's jump in. I haven't watched this video. This video is entitled The Truth About Love. This is Derek Silver. I like watching these young dudes pause and listen to what they have to say. Because what's going on with these guys is the same thing that went on with me when I was way younger than they were. I was a teenager when I figured this out. I was, I understood early on all these epiphanies these guys have. Derek Silver's, a few others out there, and they come to the same conclusion that all men will come to at some point. Not all, but the majority. And I want to listen to what he has to say, the truth about love. I'm pretty sure this is going to be him talking about how he thought being a nice guy and, being a simpleton and showing up with flowers and all that. How he thought that was going to help him be successful with women. And then he realized that, nope, that's not necessarily the case. I bet you that's what he's going to say. I haven't seen this yet. So this is going to be fun to watch. So again, this is Derek Silver. That's him right there, a young dude. I think he's out of Cali. I watch a lot of his content. Please go over, subscribe, and watch his stuff. Support this young guy. So let's get into it.
I've pretty much been through the entire spectrum of love, dating, and relationships. From being a simp to the guy that had a crush on his girl best friend, to the friend zone, to having that period of low self-worth and low confidence, real awkward, afraid to talk to girls, and then finally getting a girlfriend and then becoming the devout long-term relationship guy. And it's so funny because back then I was like, I would never hook up with a girl. Hookup culture is disgusting. I was just real young and idealistic about love all the way until my very first heartbreak. And then just having a really dry and lonely phase of my life, to being in the dating market, to online dating, to becoming jaded about love, to being a boy, and then going back to being celibate again. I mean, you guys know this. I've told so many stories on this channel.
Bro, he's keeping it 100. I would say the vast majority of men, especially those men who are out there trying, this young kids out there trying, they go through the same cycle, bro. Right? You heard we said, I would never hook up. Hookup culture is disgusting. Okay. Until you realize all the girls that you are in love with, all these young girls out here are all hooking up with these your homies. They're out here hooking up with these dudes. And you're like, oh, well, I guess I better get on board with that. But first you go out there and you fall in love with the chick that's out here banging everybody. That's one of the first lessons you learn. It's like, oh. And it's not to say that women are bad, because they're not. Women are wonderful. They're amazing. You get the right woman, bro, it is going to 100x, 1000x your life. Trust me when I tell you. But if you get the wrong woman, she will utterly destroy everything you're trying to do. And that's not a personal thing. That's not a hit on women. The same is true for women. Ladies, if y'all choose the wrong dude, your life is going to suck. But if you choose the right dude, sky's the limit. Right? It goes both ways. It goes both ways. Educated Tyrone, what's good, fam? How you feeling, bro? Man, we work on our time over here, bro. You ain't got to worry about that. You ain't late. But did you hear what he said, man? He was talking about he's run the whole gauntlet, man. He's been all the way around. He knows what he's talking about. He went from being the shy dude, the guy ain't getting no play, to everyone's like, oh, you're just my friend, like the simpleton, the guy in the friend zone. He went from that to seeing that, oh man, women do get down and they want to do what we want to do as men. And you know what I'm saying? Like, all is fair in love and war. He's been the whole gamut. And he shared it with everybody, man. So shout out to him, bro. Shout out to him, man. Like, oh yeah, bro, we chilling over here, man. We just over here talking a little RP stuff, man. I'm trying to catch up on all the content that I wasn't able to post when my computer went down. So I'm just trying to catch up on that. YouTube still don't like me, y'all. I've been fighting YouTube on that strike that's not a strike. And I just, to the point now, I'm just like, screw it. I got to wait till I build up enough support. I get enough, I get more followers and I get to a higher number. I get 10,000, 20,000 subscribers, then YouTube will let me talk to a human. We'll get into that too later on. We'll talk about these YouTube strikes, and we talk about YouTube favoritism. We'll get into that. And everyone has their stories, man. You got the RP stuff and whatever. Everybody has their story. I'm glad you didn't have to go through like the worst of it, but you got to be careful, bro, because you still can. My brother in the building, Jay Swans, what's up, bro? And all these different pills, man. Blue pill, purple pill, gray pill, pink pill, white pill, whatever. Here's the thing, man. It's just the knowledge. I mean, it's easy to condense these different stories within these different colors or pills, but it's just the knowledge, man. And, the fact that you're out there hollering at women and you know that women are not sugar, spice, and everything nice, like women can be vicious, just like dudes can be vicious. Just so you guys know, it's no real difference, bro. Like, the game of life is real. And like I said earlier, life is a contact sport. And people are playing hard out there, bro. You are going to get hit. You are going to get hurt. So let's continue.
And I've kind of taken you through this journey of being naive and idealistic about love, and then realizing certain unflattering realities about love, dating, and relationships. But truth to be told, I think no matter what, deep down inside, there's always a part of me that's gonna be idealistic about love. Like, as corny as it sounds, I think I'll always be the guy that still believes in love, even if that pure, genuine love becomes less than 1%. Because as long as that 1% never hits zero, I'll always have something to look forward to.
And he's just being honest, man. Again, this is the whole red pill thing is honesty, in my opinion, bro. And you have to understand that about yourself, right? It's kind of like what Sun Tzu say, man. Know yourself, man. You have to know yourself. For him to deny that part would be detrimental to his own success. If he would have sit there and say, "No, man, I don't love these hoes. I don't love nobody." But in reality, he's looking for that true Disney fairy tale type love. Then he's gonna hurt himself. The fact that he's aware of that, to me, tells me he's going to be successful moving forward. He's going to be careful of that. He's like, yo, and his homies, I'm sure the people close to him is like, hey, man, be careful. You looking for that love, bro, right? You looking for love in all the wrong places can get you hurt. But if you come across that one, like he said, so long as 1%, if it might only be 1%, but 1% of people do find that true love. I've seen people who find that love he's talking about. But the thing is this, here's the catch. You can find that, true 100% love thing. You can find it. But once you do find it, it's still work, right? And all of the lessons you learn, all of the red pill tenets still apply, right? And those are people out there who are thinking like, well, if you really love someone, this red pill stuff goes out the window. It never goes out the window, bro. It is the science. It is the math behind relationships. It's always there, right? Just like gravity is always there. Just like there's dark matter, there's dark energy, there's regular energy, there's antimatter. All that stuff is there, bro. Science is science, and red pill is the science behind relationships. That's all it is. Don't forget that, and you will be okay, right? Don't let that go. So many people I just want to let go and fall in love. Like, bro, you're going to let go and fall. You're going to fall. You're going to get jacked up. You're going to find yourself just like Cisco. You're going to be stuck in that moment where things went wrong for you. And you're going to be stuck there. You might be stuck there for the rest of your life. But if you continue to apply your red pill knowledge to your relationships, bro, you will see it coming. And just like Cisco in Deep Space Nine, spoiler alert, he was able to move on. And that's the key, right? And I think that's the reason the red pill message is so hard to swallow for so many dudes, especially, man, because they don't want that part. They don't want to have to fight and move on. They don't want to take the L, bro. I mean, and it happens. But it happens. Yeah, bro, the baby trap is real. Educated Tyrone, bro, you know about that. The baby trap is real. Look at Jay Swans. He's a nerd shaking my damn head. I'm a nerd too, bro. I'm a nerd. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Jay Swans like to run around, but that's another dude too. It's so many people out there, even some of these hardcore dudes, like when they fall, man, if they fall for the wrong woman, man, it could destroy him. It could destroy him. But even something like Jay Swans, he knew what he was looking for from day one, so he didn't have to worry about it. He was able to see through it, and he did what he did, and it worked for him, and it was great. But he'll tell you in a heartbeat. Relationships are hard work, bro. Extremely difficult, man. You know what I mean? And definitely check out Silver, bro. You want to check out Derek, man. Like he puts out some good content, man. But the fact that these nerdy dudes, these guys that we perceive as nerdy, if they follow the red pill tenet, man, and if they learn their lessons, bro, they can be successful with relationships. I seen again, Neil deGrasse Tyson, I don't even know how you say his middle name, but that dude's married. That dude's a rock star in the scientific world. You know how many nerdy chicks, dimes in the scientific world, bro, working at JPL and stuff like that, bro. At MIT, man, there's some fine chicks out there, bro. Fine. Like I'm all over the world. Like they so fine, they don't even realize how fine they are. They're not into makeup like that. They don't be wearing dressing up. They are just into their science. They're into their math. They're into that. Them been the ones, bro. But guess what? When it comes to dating, the same rules apply, bro. They don't even realize they're doing it. I mean, it is what it is. Right? So you can't go into that situation thinking, I thought that, like, oh, I got this nerdy chick. This is going to be easy. Man, the nerdy girls were the toughest ones to deal with. And those were the ones that were, man, they were really doing their thing. Like when you got to get to know these women, it's like, yo, they're doing their thing. And and they kept it quiet as kept. And the dudes that they were rocking out, these guys were nerdy dudes, but they were the rock stars of the nerdy dudes, and they weren't in your world. So you didn't even get there. You know what I'm saying? How does Fresh put it? The whole facts? It won't come back on these women because they're moving in a world where you really don't have that many people. That's why I got nerds on my team. I got nerds on my team. I got the band dudes on my team. You know what I'm saying? I got the rock stars and the geeks and the dweebs. I got them all on my team. So I can see what's going on. And I'm here to tell you, the game, like when it comes to the dating game, it does not change much from bubble to bubble. It's the same, bro. It's the same. Let's continue.
You see, everybody speaks from experience, which is why I'm confident about speaking about love, dating, and relationships, because I've been through almost the entire spectrum. Obviously, aside from having a wife and family, of course, which is ideally the end game. But whether it's you, me, your friends, your coworkers, your siblings, even your parents, whoever it is, right? If you listen closely when hearing people talk about whatever certain topics, they're almost always speaking subconsciously from their personal experience and telling you indirectly what they've been through, what they've experienced. And this is also why I'm a really good conversationalist with girls, because I'm good at listening and reading in between the lines. So for example, right, someone that recently got their heart broken or rejected or had a bad breakup, their framework and perspective towards love and dating and relationships is going to be directly correlated to that most recent experience. Even if you try to draw that perspective from your overall opinion in general, this is just something we do as human beings. And this is
right, just like we were just saying, man, just like in Deep Space Nine, you know, Commander Cisco, he existed in one moment in time. You wouldn't let it go. And that's what he's talking about right here. You dealing with women or dude, anybody who's coming off of a breakup, especially a nasty breakup, and they've been together forever, like they didn't see it coming. They're going to dwell there for a while. They're going to dwell there for a while, bro. Like now, they might be going through the motions with you. You know, you might be the dude who's like, oh, I finally got her. You know what I mean? She you know, that dude, the F boy, it done finally, you know, messed her up or whatever. He done finally messed up. I got my shot. I'm going to slide in here. She might let you slide in there for a moment, but she ain't there. Her head ain't right. She's existing in that moment where she got her heart broken. And that's where she is. Now, women are better at bouncing back from that. They tend to bounce back faster than men. But sometimes, right, they do some wild stuff before they bounce back. And here you are thinking, I got her, which is, you know, like a lot of dudes play that game. They sit there and they wait for that vulnerable moment. They get that vulnerable moment. I got her now. She's mine. Nah, bro, she'll come over there and cry on your shoulder. But when you go to work, man, she out there going to work, if you know what I mean. She out there doing her thing, if you know what I mean. And then she'll come back to you, and you're thinking, oh, there, baby, I got you. Bro. She leaning down, looking at her phone, you know what I mean, hitting up Hunter and Tucker and Chad and Tyrone and Pookie and Ray Ray. She out there doing her thing. Why? Because she's still hurt and she doesn't know what to do and how to handle that. She's still existing in that moment where she got her heart broken. And the dude who broke her heart, he's still kind of circling back, smashing every now and then, right? If she doesn't deal with that situation properly, he gonna circle back. And here you are, right there. I got her now, she mine. Nah, bro, she everybody's. You just don't know what she doing because you ain't outside. And you are blinded by what's going on. You're sitting here playing a very dirty game. It's dirty Mac, and you think you got her to vulnerable point where, okay, true, you did. You got her to vulnerable point. But ain't no telling what she's out there doing. And I ain't mad. I ain't judging. She can do what she want to do. More likely, she's going to get away with it because women are better at that than men. This is all red pill stuff, bro. It's all red pill stuff. It's just, this is a hard pill to swallow. These dudes were like, oh, I got her, knight in shining armor. We're going to ride off happily ever after into the sunset. Nah, she going to be doing her thing, possibly. You know what I mean? None of this is certain. Like, and even those girls who aren't doing their thing, they're just getting over the breakup. They're getting over the pain, and you're there. And they're like, okay, cool. It's nice to have someone, a shoulder to lean on, a shoulder to put my head on. Right. And the guy's doing all these things. He's cooking for her. He's cleaning for her. He's doing all this stuff. He's holding her up, pedestalizing her. Then she finally gets herself together and she's like, all right, cool. You're such a good friend. Good boy. Good boy. And then she runs off and get the next dude that she wants. Right. Another top tier guy, another stud, another guy who's good at something. It could be a nerdy dude, but it's going to be the best nerdy dude out there. And she's going to be looking at you like, thanks, friend. You're my friend. Just like these, like that one chick that gave me the copyright strike. That's how she starts her show, Maddie. That's how she starts her show. Hey, friends. Hi, friends. And those dudes are just constantly sending her stuff, waiting. They waiting for her to have a moment. They waiting for her to be vulnerable. And they're thinking, I'll get my shot then. Man, you ain't never going to have a shot. You ain't never going to have a shot. If your game ain't right, if you ain't the best version of yourself, if you don't understand this world. But that's how they act, man. I be hearing it outside. These girls be running up on these dudes that they know or whatever. And they be like, hey, friend, he's such a good boy. And I sit there and laugh. Like, hey, man, you put yourself in that situation. Let's continue.
Something I've always tried to be conscious of despite the negatives. As many girls I realize are out here, and trust me, they're out here. Whether it's telling me about the guys they've hooked up with or how many one-night stands they've had.
I'm a girl, I have needs, so I don't mind the whole, I guess just seeing someone and, yeah.
Just fucking?
Yeah, basically.
Or even having guys on their roster. Did you ever have a roster where you were seeing multiple guys?
A roster is so funny. So there was one period of time where that was happening.
Maybe it's delusional, entitled chicks on dating apps. Despite all those negatives, right? I mean, listen, I'm always going to be real. You guys know that. But all I need to know is that it's out there. All I need is that feeling that I've experienced before. That feeling of that pure, genuine love. And I think for a lot of guys, a lot of people in general that go through heartbreak, after they go through that experience, they no longer believe in love. But I think I'm kind of like the opposite. I'm kind of like, I know that feeling and I know that it's out there. And the thing about love is that everybody says that love is a choice, right? And everyone knows this. But the feeling of being in love, the feeling of being with someone that genuinely makes you want to be better, and this is something that the red pill side doesn't really talk about, which is the feeling of love. Someone that makes everything make sense. All the good, all the bad, all the ups and downs. Someone that pulls everything together and makes you think like, oh, now I understand why that happened. Just having that person that makes everything make sense because everything in your life led you up to that point where you got to be with this person. Like, bro, that love right there is an indescribable feeling. And
just like I said, man, the right woman in your life with 1000x what you got going on. What he is talking about exists. And he's right. The red pill world, they don't talk about this much. Rolo doesn't even talk about this. And Rolo found that. Rolo is a dude who's happy with his situation. He has his wife. He has his daughter. She's grown now. They did it the right way. But, guys like Rolo, they hit that midlife crisis point. Like, he still wants some attention, too. Like, he wants to get out there, but I don't think he's out there trying to smash other women. He might be. I don't know. But Rolo has the love that he's talking about, right? The red pill doesn't talk about that, bro. It's real. It's real, guys. And it's an amazing feeling. I'm here to tell you, homie, there's no better feeling than that. Players will tell you about it. Players fall in love all the time. They fall in love with all the chicks in their rotation. And yeah, I've been telling y'all about that. Rosters, I call them rotations. They say spinning plates. Women do it too. Women get mad at me when I talk about a rotation and this is where you fit in the rotation. I never lied to you. This is what it is. If you don't want to deal with it, fine. See you. Women get mad at me when I tell them that. But just like he's doing right here, Derek got these women on the phone, like, and they saying like, yeah, I got a roster. Yeah, I'm out here smashing dudes. Yeah, I got these, I'm out here getting foodie dates. Women will tell you, bro. It ain't like you got to get super cool with them either. It ain't like it's going to take, oh, y'all got to be friends for 8 years before she, tells you the truth. Let me tell you what's really going on. Man, please. Hey, a few weeks. And she sees you cool, a few weeks. And it's on. She'll give you all the dirt. All right? She'll tell you. But you just got to be careful with the falling in love thing. That's it. You just got to be careful with it, bro. Just be careful. And it's there, and it's a great feeling. It's an amazing feeling. I have to tell people all the time, it's an amazing feeling. It gives you that opportunity. It gives you that extra boost to go out there and really succeed, bro. Like, it's just, your mindset is different, bro. Like, it's just one of those things. That is a good goal to have, in my opinion. If you out here, you're a young dude, and you looking for a good wife, a good woman, that's what's up, bro. That's what's up. But understand something. It's really difficult to find. And the older you get, the more difficult that mission becomes. That's all I'm saying. For an old dude like me, that type of love, the idealistic type of love, I'm not even trying to find that, bro. I'm just going to keep it 100. In order for me to find that, man, I got to mess with a young girl. I got to mess with a 20-something, for real. A woman like a woman my age, a woman in her mid-50s, she got as many battle scars as I do, probably more. Because there's a lot of stuff she had to hide from society where I got patted on the back for, like, you the man, you smashed all them chicks, you a threesome, this and that. She got to hide that. So her scars, her scars run deep. And you ain't gonna necessarily see those scars. You got to get to those scars. So I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for that at all. I'm cool with just riding off into the sunset and having a woman next to me that understands the mission and is doing what I need her to do. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a woman that understands one thing, like, yo, if you go out here, right, and you cross my line, you do something out of bounds, I'm leaving you. And I'm not going to make a big thing about it. I'm not even going to tell you about it. You just going to look up one day and be like, what happened to Saint? Where is he? How come he never calls me back? How come he never texts me back? Am I blocked? That's what I'm doing. I don't have time for all that extra shit. I'm just gone. Simple as that. I'm just gone. I appreciate you, brother Tyrone. $2 super sticker. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. I really do appreciate that. Any donations that you guys give me, I don't care if it's a penny. Man, times are tough out here, bro. So, brother Tyrone, thank you so much, man. It's $2. I know people like, come on, Saint, it's only $2. Man, that's $2, bro. It's getting rough out here, man. It's getting tough out here, bro. That's $2 he could have put towards something else, man. So I truly appreciate that. Thank you, brother. Like it is what it is, man. Like it is what it is. It's tough out there, guys. So I'm not necessarily looking for that idealistic blind love kind of thing. That I leave that to the youngsters. And if you can find it as a young man, bro, that's what's up. But just remember, the older you get, the tougher it is. The tougher it is, man. It's just the women, they get more experiences. They go through more stuff, just like you. You go through more stuff, and it just makes it harder the older you get. Trust me when I tell you. I look back on my life now, and I'm like, damn, bro, I can think of 5 women, 5 perfect, excellent women that I should have been with when I was younger. And, looking back, hindsight, I'm looking back and I get to see what they did with their lives and who they were with and what they were doing. And I'm like, damn, they were good. Them the ones right there. Them were the ones. I was in a different place. I was doing something else. I didn't want to deal with that to my own detriment. I often think like, damn, where would I be now if I had stayed with her, or if I had decided to, let her be with me? Where would I be right now? Who knows? Who knows, bro? But I tell you this, all 5 of those women are extremely successful. And 3 of those women are still with the dudes that they got with back then. They're all successful. And the 2 who left the dudes, it was the guys who screwed up. And I mean, again, I know the whole story. I sat there and watched it all play out. It's like, wow, it was not, I can honestly say in this situation, it was not the fault of the women. Trust me. Like I said, I was a dog back then. These women were loyal. I was trying to smash. And they were like, Even though they dude was out there messing up, even though they dude was just a deadbeat, they still wouldn't cross that line until that relationship was over. And once that relationship was over, then it was on. So I'm like, man, those some good women, bro. And I had a shot and I messed it up. You know what I mean? And let's continue.
Listen, I understand that what I'm describing, especially in Gen Z and whatever comes after, is becoming few and far in between. Obviously, I understand that. I think this is something that the older generation can probably relate to a bit more when it comes to that feeling of love. You know, without the internet and without phones, people were definitely a lot more connected as human beings. And because of this, they had more fruitful, genuine relationships. You know, relationships that aren't predicated on social media or virtual online connections. You know, before social media changed not just the dating market, but the way we interact as people, the way we interact as human beings. You know, before your girlfriend tried to check your phone while you're sleeping to see who you're DMing. Like, even with the ways social media and the internet has changed the way we interact and, you know, meet other people, like deep down inside, and this definitely still applies to women, but deep down inside, they all still definitely prefer to meet their dream guy organically. You know, there's still kind of that old school Hollywood rom-com that they fantasize about, you know, where they kind of want their dream guy to walk through a door in the coffee shop on a Saturday afternoon, or to be scrolling through a library and reach for the same book at the same time and make eye contact. Like, they would much rather meet their dream guy in an organic scenario as opposed to having to admit that you met him on Hinge, or having to admit that he DM'd you on Instagram. Like, finding that genuine love that I described is definitely way harder nowadays, without a doubt. But the reality is, there is a strong possibility that we might not find that. And to be honest, not even just average guys, but also high status or high value guys as well. Because the more experiences you have, the more jaded you become. Like, even though I try to not make that the case for me, this is the case for a lot of people. The more you elevate, the more you realize you're going to be loved based on what you provide. And this is something that guys with status, wealth, etc., what they realize. The term...
Hey, bro, the jaded part right there, he ain't lying, man. I can't tell you how many times. It wasn't a whole bunch of times, but it was more than a handful. You'll meet a woman, right? I met this woman once, man. This was back in the 90s. And I was, you know, still a young man, and I was a lot like Derek. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I was a lot like him. I did then, and I do now believe that type of love exists. Now, I wasn't able to capture it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? It does. I meet this woman, right? Like you said, this is before social media and all that, so it was on a random. I forget, we met. One of those things where you're walking towards each other and you keep getting each other's way. So we were kind of walking towards each other. I moved to the left and she moved, you know, and we were far away and we literally wound up nose to nose. So I just hugged her. And then she hugged me back. And I was like, what you doing? And she was like, nothing. And we went and got some lemonade. And then that turned into us walking around the park. It was an hour before I even got her name. We hanging out. She didn't know my name. I ain't heard her name. We just hanging out, holding hands the whole nine, bro. It was like a movie. I ain't lying. It was like a movie. Finally, I was like, you know what? What's your name? And she told me her name. I, told her my name. Exchanged information, man. We kicked it. When you talk about an intense week, every single moment of every day for 7 days, we were talking back and forth, doing whatever. Man, it was great. I'm thinking, man, this is perfect. She the one. I mean, she was beautiful, man. Caramel skin, long black hair, no weave. You know what I'm saying? Like, fit. She was fine. Like, she had a background similar to mine, so she was cool. Nothing really shook her. When she was next to me, I'm like, you don't seem to be nervous. She's like, because I'm with you. And I mean, it was perfect. I'm like, man, she here, right here. And I'm like, look, I was in the military. I had to go on a mission. I came back a few weeks later, and I went somewhere. I was at Fort Bragg, but I went somewhere away from Fort Bragg. I'm at an event, outdoors, picnic kind of thing, and I see Shorty. We lock eyes, and she didn't smile. Instinctively, I knew something wasn't right, so I didn't smile. You know what I'm saying? And the dude that invited me to the party comes up, daps me up. You know what I'm saying? It was an associate. We went like tight, but it was an associate. What's up, fam? Whatever. Let me introduce you to my mom, because I'm at his crib, it was a backyard barbecue. Let me introduce you to my girl. Right? Here go my girl right here. And it was her. And here I am, the player that I am, bro. Like, I understand the game. Like I understand it's a hard game. Life is a contact sport, like I've been telling y'all. Man, this shit hurt, but I had to keep the face right. I was like, she kept her face right. Right? And we went through the whole get introduced like we didn't know each other. Oh, okay, that's what's up. Where you from? Okay, yeah, I'm from so-and-so. Oh, okay, how long you known, dude? And she's like, got her arm, like she's like holding on to his arm and, you know, got her head on his shoulder and kissing him on the cheek. Man, that shit was hard to sit through. It was hard to sit through. Like, damn, I was crushed because I allowed myself to believe that it was love at first sight and all this, right? So 3 weeks after that, I get a call from a number I didn't recognize. But back then, you didn't recognize no numbers because, you know, it is what it is. We didn't have cell phones like that. Answer the phone, it's her. She over her cousin's house. When I met her, she was at her cousin's house. That's why she was down there where we was at, not up there where she lived. And she got me on the phone. She's like, what you doing? I'm like, nothing. She's like, hey, can you meet me at such and such? So I meet her. And she was just like, yo, I just wanted to tell you I appreciate you keeping it real. I appreciate you. You could have told on me. Again, like she was like me. She was the same as me. Too much like me. Too much like me. She was like, so, and she was like, I could see you could keep a secret. Like our families are close and da-da-da. It's not an arranged thing, but, you know, our families just thought we should be together. And, you know, we've known each other since we was kids and da-da-da. That's what that is up there. But, you know, I travel. And she's letting me know, like, I travel. So, yeah, man, it went from this is the girl of my dreams to me and her out here creeping. It was called creeping back in the day. We creeping around. She's still in her relationship and I'm doing what I'm doing. We creeping around. That's when I realized that a man needs to have a rotation. Not needs to, but a man should run a rotation. That's when I realized that. And that's when I realized that men aren't the only ones who run rotations, because just like she was in my rotation, I was in hers. That's when I was like, you know, this game has levels to it. It is what it is. Yeah, if y'all wondering, of course we was smashing. Like I said, dude was just an associate. I ain't really know him like that. You know, he wasn't one of my guys. He was just an associate. So yeah, I was smashing a little shorty. And every time, it wasn't a lot, but every now and then I would see dude, because I'll be up there doing what I'm doing. He have her on his arm, and she's like the perfect, dutiful girlfriend. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I'm looking at him. I know exactly how he feels. He's 100% in love. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, that would have been me. Because trust and believe she would do the same thing to me. Like, man, that would have been me. He completely in love with her. I think they wound up getting married. I think they had some kids. I lost track after I got out. After I got out of the military, I lost track. They were down south in Carolinas. But I was sitting there like, damn, she cold. She played it like a true G. She's a player. Just like me. So that's all I'm saying, bro. That's how it goes, bro. So what he's talking about the being jaded and all that, it's true, man. It's true. Let's continue.
Gold digger has a really negative connotation, and no woman wants to seem or come off as shallow, but it's like Kanye said, I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't fucking with no broke. And that's a fact. Like, you could have the best personality in the world, right? But if you're broke, she's not gonna pick you. It's like, bro, you think Jeff Bezos, when he takes a woman on a date, he's thinking, I'm gonna try to get her to love me for who I am as a person. Like, let's be real. And I used to be the guy that think that was a really bad thing and kind of like look down on women who put money first, who are gold diggers. But if you really think about it, and again, the older you get, the more you're gonna realize that You know, most women, most people to some extent are gold diggers. Like as a man, a lot of your value is contingent on what you provide. People don't like to hear it, but it's true. And it's not that they're shallow, they're just biologically wired to seek someone who can protect and provide. So you kind of just have to learn to accept certain natures of women that you thought were, you might have thought were shallow or superficial. It's like, yeah, women want winners. I remember when I was young and being all hurt when I realized that my girl didn't just love me for who I was. And there was actually a specific moment of realization too. I remember we were talking on the phone. But it's not like who you are isn't a part of it. It definitely is, but without being able to provide, it's almost irrelevant. The reality is the closest thing to unconditional love aside from God is the love you get from your mom. And this is kind of the red pill moment for a lot of guys, this realization. Like the only one who will truly love you for you is your mom and God. But it's like you kind of learn to accept it for what it is. And again, this doesn't mean that you have to completely give up on the idea of love. You just kind of have to change your lens on what it is. Because you can obtain something that you don't believe exists. So if you don't believe that love exists, then by definition, you'll never achieve it. You'll never reach it. If you believe that they're all terrible and shallow because they love based on what you provide, then yeah, you're probably not going to ever find a good girl. You just kind of have to change your perspective on love and its definition. Like love is still a choice, right? But just because a part of why they chose you is based on what you provide, it doesn't make that love not real. And also again, choose someone who chooses you. Because since love is a choice, the day they stop choosing you, you gotta let them go. The reason why I'm working to be the best version of myself, the version of myself that's strong, charismatic, can provide, has frame, etc., is because that woman that I want wouldn't choose me as I currently am. And trust me, I know that, and this is the difference between guys and girls. Again, not all women, right? But a lot of them have the mentality that they're special and perfect just the way they are, and that their dream guys should kind of just fall into their lives. For guys, we know that this isn't the case. And let's say that I do end up getting her in the future. Just because she's with me then and she wouldn't be with me now, I don't see that as superficial or not real love. Like despite all the negatives, the reason why I still believe in love is because I've changed my perspective on what it is. I realized that I had to let go of that young idealistic view of love where it was completely based on how you felt. How that person makes you feel as opposed to what you provide. And when you kind of think about it, that's kind of the unique case with high school sweethearts. Because when you're young, neither of you really thought about what the other could provide when you got together. She wasn't thinking about what was in your bank account or what was your career or what car you drove or what you do for a living. And you weren't really thinking about her body count or having a promiscuous past or even what kind of wife she would make. You guys are both young and you guys just enjoyed being around each other. You guys enjoyed the way you made each other feel, and that was enough. Like that young love is essentially why old people reminisce on it all the time. It's why
Man, this young dude right here understanding, man. He understands it, bro. He gets it. He gets it, man. And he's 100% correct, man. You are never going to capture that puppy love from middle school, high school. You never going to recapture that, bro. You just, life changes. Like, and if you get, mad at a woman because she chose you over another guy due to the fact that you are a high earner. Like, come on now. You chose her because her butt bigger than the other chick, or she has bigger breasts than the other chick, or whatever. There's a reason you chose her over someone else who's just superficial. At least hers makes sense. Like, well, at least this dude could provide. Like, when if it's time for us to have babies, he can afford to take care of the kids. That makes sense to me. But you're never gonna capture that same love, that puppy love that you captured when you were in school. The story I told you, right? When we locked eyes on each other, that was like that puppy love, that fun, playful, free. Just I wasn't hitting her with no game. She wouldn't hit me with no game. We were unafraid to let it happen, and we let it happen, and we enjoyed the moment. Right? We enjoyed the time we spent together. But she knew she had a man. She knew she had a dude that she was going to marry. She was in a serious relationship. And I knew I had a bunch of chicks in a rotation. Now, I was willing to cut my rotation loose because y'all know I don't cheat. I don't cheat. I really don't. If I see a woman I want to be with, I get rid of everybody else and I focus on her. That's just something I do. I'll still do it to this day. Nothing's ever going to change that. But she knew she was in a serious relationship with a dude. And she ran her play. And it was like, what were the odds that I would know her guy? Like, what were the odds on that, bro? Like 400 million people in America. And like this dude knows the guy that I'm messing with. The guy wasn't military or anything like that. Like I said, I've always been a networker. So she probably was like, what are the odds? But the reason the two of us were messing around like we were messing around because when we met, it was like that high school puppy love. I wasn't wearing a bunch of designer clothes and I didn't have a bunch of money like that. It was just, we clicked. And I think that's why we messed with each other like that. But we were grown-ups and the whole game changed. Like, like she was doing her thing, I was doing mine, and it became a physical thing. I removed my emotions from it. Yeah, we would smash and have great sex, right? And all that. We would go out and hang out, but I knew like, man, and she's holding onto my arm and got her head on my shoulder just like she had it on her dude. So I'm just like, okay, I see what it is. I'm just gonna enjoy this moment. But I already know now we ain't getting married. It is what it is. That's not who she's smashing me. She's smashing him. There's probably 3 or 4 other dudes out there as well. Even if it wasn't, even if we were the only 2, that's still too many. Right? It is what it is. So understand that, guys. You're never gonna get that puppy love, that high school love, that first love, that kind of stuff. The older we get, the further removed we are from that. And a lot of guys are out here chasing it. Chase it at your own peril.
Why they reminisce on that feeling of young, passionate, innocent love. It was purely based on a feeling and not what you provided. And again, the reason why I'm making this video is because as you get older, that young love naturally disappears. You tend to lose your belief in love just because you don't experience that love anymore. When in reality, it's still there, but the conditions based on what it is changes. But it's like you gotta accept that those conditions of love changes as you get older. It's just part of life. It's just a part of human nature, but at the end of the day, it's still love. It's who you choose to love. The ideal situation is to find someone you're compatible with that aligns with your perspectives, your values, your morals, and someone you're compatible with in general. And then your choice to kind of be with that person based on whatever those conditions of love you have, that's what makes it real. It's like no matter how you look at it, right? People don't want to look at relationships or something like love as transactional because they're tied to that young feeling, that young idealistic love. But the reality is that love is going to be based on conditions. No matter how much you think you love this person for who they might be, who they are, there's something they would do that would make you lose that love for them. And the only true unconditional love comes from God. Thank you for listening. I love you. I appreciate you. With that said, make sure you stay true. I'll talk to you real soon.
Shout out to young Derek, bro. The young red pill G. Shout out to young Derek. The whole winking and I love you and the wink pause on all that. But I get where he's coming from. And he's 100% correct on this one. He nailed this one, guys. He nailed it. He nailed it. Right? It's that you ain't never gonna get back to that young love. With my daughter, I have a 16-year-old daughter. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I encourage her to talk to these young boys, and I want her to find that young love, and then maybe it's a good kid, and then, we can cultivate that and grow that with the right kid, and, maybe it'll help her avoid a lot of nonsense as a young adult. If she can find a good guy, a good young boy in school, comes from a good family, and, and he's on the right track, if we can cultivate that, I think that would be a good thing. I'm open to it. I encourage my daughter whenever I can, like, oh, who is that boy? Like, okay, who's his family? And is he in the band or what does he do? I'm trying to do that because the further she gets away from that, the harder it becomes. Like the older she gets, the harder it's going to be to find a good guy. So, I mean, Emmanuel, you're right, man. Dude was on fire for real. Absolutely, Donnie. Facts. Like I believe that this is the next phase of the red pill, the manosphere. It's going to be more guys like Derek, more guys with a message like my own. We're going to come away from the combative, F these 304s. We're coming away from that and just more of a philosophical, like, hey, bro, let's talk about this, man. You know, I'm gonna be throwing more sci-fi stuff in there. You know, the more Star Trek I rewatch, like, bro, they was really on some red pill stuff too, bro. Like, and Voyager, Neelix and Kess, man, Neelix was a jealous simpleton. You know what I mean? Like trying to get on Kess, trying to get on this young person. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, watch Star Trek Voyager. But there's a lot of red pill messaging going all the way back to the original series. There's a lot of life lessons and little gems that they spliced in those episodes, bro, in that world that they built. So I think that the red pill message is coming this way now. It's going to be less combative. It's going to be, you know, less of the tough love, the tough coach. There's going to be more of the more refined, direct. You know, it's kind of like in the military. You had like your basic training. That's when you get screamed at by the drill sergeant. They like shark attack you and all that. And then you get to your unit, and then you get into like a specialty unit, kind of like Mandrell's a Green Beret, or you get to like an airborne unit, or you're working with Rangers or Delta, you work with all these people, and it become more of a gentleman's course. Where it's like, all right, you guys are all proven operators. You guys are hardcore, like you guys are who are soldiers. So I don't have to scream at you. This is the mission. This is what we need to do. This is what I saw. These are the debriefs. I think that the red pill is coming to that. Where guys are just like, hey, man, here's the scenario. This is what happened. Or we went out and we were out here talking to a bunch of girls. We out here in the trenches. Let's debrief what happened. What, people like me are like, oh, I think you missed this, bro. This chick was in your blind spot here. Be careful. I don't believe it's that puppy love stuff, man. We ain't puppies no more. So be careful with that. Remember your lessons learned. There's going to be more of that than screaming and, get out and the Frank Castle and all that kind of stuff, which there's nothing wrong with that. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. That was, I think that was needed, and it may still be needed for some people, but I think a lot of guys are like graduating from that and they're like, okay, they need nuance. And what young Alex was just saying, man, that's some real nuanced stuff, bro. He's sitting there. He went the whole gamut. I mean, look at him, bro. He looks like a soft dude or whatever, but he's figured it out. And he's out there and he's like, okay, cool. I see what it is. Let me move accordingly. All right. So, and that's what we're going to do over here. When we talk red pill, we're going to be talking more along those lines. All right. We're going to really get into it, peel back the layers individually, like what's going on. Like that story I shared with you guys, man, that was not a story to say women ain't, all women are 304s. That's not the message there. The message there is, hey, man, we ain't kids no more. The message there is you have to be a realist. You have to understand that we're grown out here and we're all out here trying to do what we're trying to do. Right? And if you out here claim to be a player, all right, live that life. Don't be mad. All right? That was me playing. I was out there running my route out there with old girl, and I got hit. And boy, it hurt. I ain't gonna lie. I failed. I quote unquote failed for that woman. I was like, bro, I was into her. In that short amount of time that I met her and known her, I was really into her. And yeah, it did hurt to see her with her dude. But here's the thing. She was still watching me. And that's what the game is. The game is, she's like, man, this dude didn't even say nothing. That's what's up. She gave it a little time. He ain't a hater. I'm going to go down there and holler at him. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to go ahead and let him smash. That's cool. He's in my rotation now. That's what I learned. I'm like, man, these women out here doing it like I do it, doing it better than me. She pulled that shit off like a G, bro. And I ain't mad at her. That's just the game. But I learned, like, as I got older, it's like, man, the older I became, the harder it was for me, the more removed I was from that puppy love, that pure love, whatever you want to call it. But you red pill dudes out here, man, I know that's what y'all looking for. Y'all looking for love. Y'all looking for it. It's a great feeling. All I'm saying is move cautiously, bro. Keep your eyes open. Keep your head on the swivel. Understand what you're dealing with. Understand that is very rare. And if you find it, outstanding. Outstanding. I'm happy for you. But just understand that that is hard to find. But that doesn't mean that you give up, right? It doesn't mean that you give up. You don't give up on love. You just understand that that version of love may not be out there anymore. So just go out here, find you a good woman, vet, run your processes, right? Remember your lessons, those lessons learned. Remember that. Talk to your homies. Talk to, you know what I mean? Talk to your family. Right? You find a good woman, run it through the process, run it through the vetting thing. That's why I said you got to vet for a couple of years, man. It takes time. It takes time. But it's really hard to lie to someone and get away with it for 2 years, bro. So once you go through all that, if that's the woman, boom. Next time we talk about this stuff, man, we're going to talk about how if a woman's really into you, bro, she doesn't give you any restrictions. And I'm not talking about just the sex. Like if a woman is really into you, fam, understand one thing. She wants to be with you and she doesn't care where or how. That's it. She will move mountains to be with you. And if she's not doing that, then she really ain't into you like that. All right. So that's going to be the next time we get together, man. That's what we're going to do it. And Brother Marcus, you're like, yep. And that's why in a westernized society, men should not use the system and government to get married. Yeah, you want to be careful. Don't get married to the government, bro. You want to marry her, that's fine. Go into church and just handle that within the church. Or y'all just, just figure it out. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful. But at some point, you're going to want your woman with you every day. At some point, you're going to have to take a chance. At some point. Now, I'm with you on that. I'm not necessarily going to sign a document. I'm not going to do that. If you catch me, you might catch me on some common law stuff. You might catch me on that, maybe. But at this point in my life, bro, once my daughter graduates high school and we get her all sorted out and in college and all that good stuff, I'm leaving. I'm leaving America. I'm going to live somewhere else. So I'm going to be living under different rules, and I'll figure out what those rules are. But I'm not going to be living under what's going on here in the West, what's going on here in America. I'm not going to be living under these rules. I'm going to be somewhere else. That's my plan. That's how I intend to deal with it. But Brother Marcus is right. Right? Don't involve Uncle Sam in the confines of a marriage. That's a fact. That's a fact. Now, America might decide to make some changes to the laws or whatever. But again, there's another faction involved in your relationship. You want to be careful with that. So we're definitely going to be talking about that moving forward. I know there's people out there like, man, what are you talking about, man? Go ahead and just get married. If that's good for you, man, do it. But I'm not doing that. I'm not signing any papers. I'm not doing it. There was a point where I was willing to do that, but I'm not doing it now. I'm not doing it now. I'll say this and then I'll leave. Miss Adrienne Nicole, what's good? She's like, I'm leaving too. What's good, sis? Good to see you. Where my there we go. I'm leaving, sis. You know what I mean? Where you going, girl? I'm going to Peru. I'm going to Lima. I've been looking at Lima for a couple years now, and I think that's where I'm gonna land. I'm gonna try Lima first. I'm gonna see what's up there. Colombia was, I ain't gonna lie to you, when I first started making my plans, this is about 15 years ago. I was like, I'm gonna move to Colombia. But Colombia is all messed up now. It may change here in the next 5 years. The passport bros have moved on. That's cool. But there's so many other countries to look at. But Lima's at the top of the list. Spain is on the list as well. I wouldn't mind looking at like Lisbon, or Ibiza, something like that. Italy. I'm thinking about, so probably here in the next couple of years, I'll be taking some trips over to Europe. I want to check out Portugal. I want to check out Spain. I'm gonna check out Greece. I like France as well, but right now, Portugal's top of the list. Like Portugal, Spain, Peru. Peru's at the top of the list. Peru followed closely by Spain, if I could find a nice little cool little spot in Spain. And then we'll see. But that's what I'm going to do. Panama is a good place. I got friends who grew up in Panama. Panama's nice. It's cost-wise, it's not a whole lot of savings in Panama. I think the cost of living in Panama is similar to that of probably like here in Florida, Central Florida, South Florida, not Miami, of course, but, like Homestead, Doral, Broward. But I got two of my closest friends. Both were born and raised in Panama, and both joined the United States military, and both were in the air traffic control world. You got out of L.A., girl? I ain't mad. Are you in Panama now, or are you just bouncing around America? That's what's up. Hey, girl, you was right down the street from Van Nuys. I was hitting up some of my friends and like, yeah, I got someone I want to do a tower tour, but you ain't even out there, so I can't get you set up on that tower tour in Van Nuys. But let me know where you are, because I know you like aviation. We can get you into someone's tower. We can get you into a Tracon so you can see what it's like on the inside. Just let me know where you are. And but yeah, girl, I'm just waiting for my daughter to graduate in 2 years. 2 years, we'll move from Tampa to Florida. We'll move from Tampa to Miami, right, the Miami area. And then from there, I'll continue south on down to Peru. And then I'll spend some time in Peru, back and forth from Peru, probably to Miami or whatever. And then we'll figure it out. Just want to make sure my daughter gets all sorted out in college and stuff like that. In New Orleans, I have, girl, we have, hit me up on Insta. Are we on Instagram? Hit me up on Instagram. I got some controller buddies in that area, in the New Orleans area. So we can actually get you sorted out, get you squared away, get you a tower tour or a radar visit so you can see what it's like. He's from Philly to Pennsylvania. Y'all leave me alone. Y'all know I'm old, man. My mind, I'm just now waking up too. I was up till 5 a.m. I had to get up and do some stuff and then change this around, get off my back. But hey, this is the red pill stuff, man. Be careful with the marriage. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying think about it. And the bottom line is this, and this is my take on red pill. Take all this stuff into consideration, right? Take it all into consideration. And then make your decision, make your move. That's it. That's it. If you want to get married and sign the papers in America, that's fine. Just look at it, understand what you're doing, make that decision, make that determination, and then do it. That's all I'm saying. I'll end with this story. I was at an event not too long ago, and I was helping a friend kind of work the room. So I'm just, trying to see what's up with everybody. Hey, are you having a good time? What's up? Blah, blah, blah. Just doing that kind of stuff. And there was a woman, and I could see her looking at me. But I'm just trying to help out. So I go up and start talking, blah, 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 get into a conversation. And okay, I knew that she was trying to holler. She was really trying to get her holler on, and I wasn't. And I didn't want to make her mad and make her leave. I didn't want to embarrass her or anything like that. So, we're just in the conversation, and I'm thinking, what can I say? What can I do to get out of this conversation? And she started talking about marriage. I'm like, okay, great. I'm like, I would never do that. I would never get legally married in America. Doesn't make any sense. It's just too much to lose for me. Like, we're talking about me. And she was, of course, the other side of that. Well, what do you mean you would never get married? Why not? And I was trying to explain to her, like, yeah, marriage and love are two different things. Like, why? What's the point? Why do it? And then she was like, well, why not do it? I'm like, because 50% of the time it doesn't work. We accept that number. I think the number is actually higher. So I'm going into this whole thing. In my mind, I'm thinking, surely she'll walk away now. I'm anti-marriage, right? Nope, that didn't work. She was older than me. She was talking about dating and having struggles. I'm like, of course you're having struggles. I go into that. Like, the older you get, the harder it's gonna be. Like, you're a woman. Like, I'm like, you don't look your age, but you're still old. Like, you're like in your late 50s. You might look like you in your early 50s, but I'm like, babe, you competing with the 20-somethings in here. Y'all all going after the same dude. So it's definitely going to be harder for you. You're going to have to sweeten the pot. Like, what are you offering? And I'm thinking, surely this will get her to go away. None of that worked, bro. She wouldn't leave. I couldn't get her to leave. She was in the section. I had to leave the section. She had worked her way into the section. I'm like, how the hell she get in here? I wound up leaving the section. I went talking to some other people, and she finally went away. She finally went away. But it just goes to show you, man, that it's tough out here. And for me, the red pill is just understanding what's going on with the current landscape, the dating landscape. If you want to deal with stuff, if you want to get married, if you want to do all these things in America, fine. If that's what you want to do, understand what's going on. Just like I told that woman, I said, look, if I'm dealing with a person, if I'm dealing with a woman and she has Oprah Winfrey money, like she's more money than me, she's a multimillionaire, she has tons of assets and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, I get married to her tomorrow. We can get married tomorrow, no problem. We can go to Vegas to a drive-through wedding right now. I'll sign the papers. Why? Because I'm not worried about losing anything. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about someone taking away from my daughter's future. I'm not worried about losing half of my stuff. I'm not worried about it because in that situation, the woman has more. And the way the American system works is whoever has more is the person who is probably going to lose. Like a marital contract in America just doesn't make sense, especially if you have something. So I told the woman that, and then she was like, well, no. And that's not necessarily true. And she's like, so you've never been married. You must be a lawyer. Like, no, I'm not a lawyer. I've never been married, but I've gone through the family court system and I know how unfair it can be. And she was like, well, I mean, I have been married and I've been divorced. And I'm like, well, there you go. You just proved my point. Like, did you lose anything in a divorce? Like, did you pay for the attorneys? Are you getting alimony? Like, you don't have to answer, but more than likely you are receiving from that breach of contract. And she got quiet. Still didn't leave. She still didn't leave. She just tried to pivot the conversation. So it is what it is. Like, I mean, it is what it is. So that's what I tell people. If you're gonna do that, if you're gonna get married, that's fine. Just understand what you're getting yourself into. Like, if you ever hear that I'm married, you see a ring on my finger, right? You best believe the woman, she just bred it up. Like, she is paid. She's got that Michael Jordan money. For real. That's the only way I'm going to do it. And it doesn't have to be that extreme, but you best believe if I'm married to a woman here in America, that she has more assets than I do. She has more to lose than I do. And I don't want anything from her. And if it doesn't work out 5 or 7 years down the road, she decides, you know what, I'm going to leave you. You're too old now. I want to get someone younger. All right, cool. No problem. We can break up. But if she starts to act big and want to act funny and wants to do some crazy shit, all right, now we're going to court. And you're paying for both attorneys. You're going to wind up paying alimony. I'm taking your Birkin collection. I'm taking, I'm taking half of that. I'm taking half of your Kelly collection, right? I'm taking half of your Louboutins. And when I mean half, I'm going to take the left shoe and you can keep the right shoe. I'm just going to F with you, right? Because I can, just to teach you a lesson. And then when it's all said and done, give you all your stuff back, just so you'll learn. Like, you don't get to act big, right, when you're the one that has stuff to lose. And again, that's what happens a lot of times, man. So I would never take anything from a woman. I just wouldn't. I don't care. But I'm not going to put myself in a position where I could lose half of what I have, half of basically what my daughter has, to somebody. I'm not going to do that. It doesn't make any sense. So that's the end of that, guys. Yeah, you're right about that, man. She was definitely not prime. She's older, like close to 60 years old. She's going to have to, pay to play, or she's going to have to definitely add more, right? She's definitely going to have to add more to the situation, sweeten the pot up, so to speak. But there are a lot of dudes out there who would love to be with her. And man, ladies, there are so many guys out there that want a relationship. So when I talk to women, like, look, if you are a woman and you want to be in a relationship and you're single, that's because of you. There are so many dudes out there. The problem is women want the absolute best man, and it doesn't matter what her age is. It's like, well, I'm in my late 50s and you're in your 50s, so we should be together because I find you attractive and you're the best that I can get, so you're going to be with me. It's like, nah, baby, you're not what I want. You're not what I want. And there's nothing you could give me. Like, you can say, well, I'm going to let you smash. I don't want to smash. I don't want to do that. But my body's together. I kept it tight. Good for you. But I don't want that. Right? So women, y'all got to understand, like, you're going to have to find a dude who wants you. It's not about what you want. It's about what he wants. And there's plenty of dudes out there who will be with you. So, you know, that is what it is, man. And men do want relationships more than women. Men really want to be in relationships. They want companionship, especially with the older dudes. Right? So, I mean, it is what it is. But they don't want, it's certain dudes, you're right, there's certain dudes that they don't want. And ladies, it's I was at a pizza place picking up a pizza over a month ago. Young woman in there, and attractive Latina, you know, darker, like maybe 2 shades darker than me, cute. And she must have been, I don't know, 19, 20, something like that. Bro, she was checking out old Uncle Saint. So again, here you have this young woman, 19, 20, 21-year-old woman, beautiful, looking at a 50, you know, mid 50 guy in his 50s, you know what I mean? You know, so you got these young girls looking at guys who are like 53, 54, 55 years old and like interested, like they want to holler. And it's like, so you think I'm going to choose a 60-year-old over a 20-something or 30-something or 40-something? Like, come on, man, I'm not going with the 60-year-old. What? I'm not doing that. Ladies, y'all got to lock it in early. So when you get to that state, when you get older, you already got your dude. Don't be getting divorced at age 48. What are you thinking? Don't be getting divorced in your mid-40s. Don't do that. I mean, the other day I was at the grocery store, same thing. Another Latina, light skin, dark hair, beautiful young girl. She must have been 24, 25, 26, somewhere in there. And we got my daughter with me, man. We're getting our stuff, and she's standing there, and she's shaking. She's like, oh, my hands are shaking. And I just looked, you know, like, what do I tell you guys? Always be talking shit. ABTS, right? Always be talking shit. So she's like, oh, I'm shaking. And she's like, I'm shaking. She started giving reasons. I couldn't even tell her hands were shaking. And I hold my hands up and I start shaking. I'm like, yeah, my hands shake too. That's because I'm old. And she's like, you're not old. I was like, oh, you're so kind, love. I am indeed old. Where do you think all this gray came from? But she was ready for the next thing, right? And all I really had to say to her when her hands were shaking was like, oh, don't worry. I get, women often have that effect around me, or I have that effect around women or something like that. I could have said something like that. But you gotta say something. But she was open. She was about it. If I wanted to get her Instagram, I'm sure she would have rushed it to me. So these women are out here talking. These young, beautiful women are out here trying to get on. So, ladies, I'm only gonna say this out of love. Lock yourself in with a dude and stay with him. Don't be getting divorced in your mid to late 40s. And don't be getting divorced in your 50s thinking it's gonna be better. It's not. It is not going to get better. The chances of you upgrading in that situation, slim next to none. But if you do get divorced and you find yourself in your 50s or 60s, single, looking for a dude, understand you ain't going to be able to get the dude you want. That is just going to be, I'm not saying don't shoot your shot, but don't be holding out. Like, just wait. You know what I mean? Like, wait. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. Shoot your shot, but don't get yourself stuck where you're just waiting on that guy. You should be picking those dudes that you know want to talk to you. And there's plenty of guys out there who will talk to you. That's what I wanted to say. Plenty of guys. And you're right, Brother Marcus. That's all I had to say, man. As soon as she said her hands were shaking, all I had to say was, holla, 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 holla. It would have been on. It would have been on. But that's it. I got to go. That's all I got for today, guys. I'll be back tonight about 7:30. We're going to run back the Peter Schiff interview. We're going to break that down. I like what he has to say, guys. I hope you guys can join me. It'll be a good conversation. And on that one, I'm going to try to drop the link to see if anybody want to jump up and talk about some of the stuff he was talking about. He does talk about Donald Trump. He does talk about our economy. He does talk about what he believes is wrong with it. The housing market, the stock market, Bitcoin. He talks about all that. So hopefully you guys can come back tonight around 7:30 right here. I Really Want to Know podcast. I'm DL Saint, man. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for rocking with me. I'll see y'all tonight. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.